There are signs of exhaustion that don't show up through sighs, but through the prolonged silence between things you once loved. And this April, with intense cosmic movements from Aries, the opposite sign of Libra, the universe begins to knock on your door, asking you to reflect. Are you truly living wholeheartedly, or just holding yourself together to keep the peace? You're still smiling, still graceful, but inside, your energy is quietly draining. With 6 distinctive signs, this video will help you realize burnout for a Libra isn't always total collapse. It's often a subtle loss of balance until you can no longer hear your own voice. You don't have to wait until everything falls apart to call it burnout. Sometimes simply not feeling joy in being yourself is already the first warning. And this is what you need to pay attention to starting in April, so you don't lose the softest strength the universe has gifted you, the ability to balance, to restore, and to fall in love with yourself again, in the most natural and profound way. Warning 1. You no longer know what you truly want, but you're exhausted from trying to please everyone. As April begins, Libra will notice something strange. You continue with your daily routines, but inside, there's a different kind of silence. Not loud, not obvious, just a sense that you're drifting without knowing exactly where you're going. As if you're living to maintain harmony, not to live authentically. And when someone asks, what do you truly want? You don't have an immediate answer. Astrologers call this the effect of the Aries sun, your opposite sign, shining directly into the parts of yourself you've tried to avoid. For Libras, this often means real emotions, real desires, and the fear that if you live authentically, someone will be displeased. But this month, you can no longer pretend. The question, what do I want, is no longer theoretical. It's starting to touch every habit you repeat daily. You might feel torn. One part of you wants to live honestly, another part just wants peace. You want to break free from fatigue, but fear disappointing others. You want to be chosen, but you're afraid to speak your needs. This inner conflict isn't a disorder. It's a sign that you're entering a new stage of personal growth. The opposing sun doesn't throw you into chaos. It simply illuminates one thing clearly. If you keep living for external peace, your inner self will continue to fracture. And if you don't stop to choose yourself this time, who will? April doesn't force you to change, it just forces you to stop pretending. Warning 2. You're in an unclear relationship but too afraid to leave. As soon as you start asking what you want, the universe brings you to the next challenge. Who do you want and why? Venus, the ruling planet of Libra, is residing in Taurus from March 11 to May 4. Taurus is the sign of values, stability, and the question of am I truly worthy? This makes you more sensitive than ever, especially to the in-between, vague feelings, unclear connections, or someone who keeps everything ambiguous. You might be in touch with someone, but you can't even define what the relationship is. They don't leave, but they also don't move forward. You're not sure if you're still loved or just being kept around for comfort. And you tell yourself, well, better this than losing everything. But April won't let you continue that way. Venus in Taurus forces you to face what you've long ignored, that you're waiting for something the other person cannot or will not give you. And the most painful part isn't not being loved. It's the fact that you've settled for a relationship that isn't real. Venus here doesn't just make you want love. It makes you crave validation, not in words, but in actions, in clear choices. If that person won't give you that, then your decision to walk away is, in itself, an act of self-love. If you've ever held onto a relationship out of fear of loss, rather than growing within it, leave a comment saying yes under this video. You don't need to explain. Just know you're not alone in that feeling. Many other Libras are also learning to love themselves before they can love someone else again. Warning 3. You're using money as a way to soothe your emotions. This April, the financial area of Libra's chart is under overlapping influence from 3 powerful sources. Venus in Taurus, Jupiter nearing the end of its stay in Taurus, and Uranus also moving through this sign. This not only increases your focus on money, but makes every financial decision a mirror of your inner emotional state. Many Libras may find themselves spending in erratic ways, sometimes excessively frugal, other times impulsively extravagant. If you notice that you're spending money to feel better, this is a warning sign. You might call it self-reward, but in truth it's an attempt to soothe your anxiety, loneliness, or feeling abandoned. On the other hand, if you find yourself afraid to spend, not because you don't have enough, but because you constantly fear loss, that's also a reflection of something deeper, the fear that you're not worthy of living in comfort. Venus in Taurus asks one crucial question: are you valuing yourself correctly? When you doubt your own worth, you create an unhealthy relationship with money, either overly dependent or overly restrictive. In both cases, money stops being a tool and becomes a secret test of how you feel about yourself. The advice here isn't to make more or spend less, but to look deeper into how you use money to treat yourself. Do you allow yourself to enjoy comfort with dignity, or are you still waiting for a good enough reason to finally be kind to yourself? If money is a mirror, this month it's showing you exactly how much you truly love yourself. Warning 4. Inner conflict: should you keep it to yourself or keep pushing to please others? One of the quiet forces wearing Libra down in April is the conflict between what you think and what you say. On the outside, you're still smiling, still graceful, still saying, "I'm fine," but inside, you're so tired you wish you could disappear for a day, just to stop holding it all together. The problem doesn't lie in major issues, but in the small things you keep conceding, keep enduring, just so others won't be upset. This April, with the sun opposing your sign in Aries, you'll find yourself more sensitive to emotional dishonesty, those moments when you nod just to move on but feel a lump in your throat, when you want to say no but smile and say, "all right then." Over time, you lose sight of what you truly want and what you're only doing to keep the peace. Astrology calls this the tension between the need to be true to yourself and the fear of breaking harmony. Libra always strives to please everyone, but this often comes at the cost of your inner truth, and this contradiction, if not acknowledged, will become your biggest energy drain this month. If you're feeling depleted, ask yourself, when was the last time I said what I truly felt without second-guessing? If you can't remember, that's where you need to begin, with one honest statement, even if it feels shaky at first. Warning 5. A relationship that keeps repeating old wounds. Why can't you let go? From March 11 to May 4, Venus, Libra's ruling planet, is in Taurus, a sign associated with possession, security, and inner value. This shines a spotlight on an issue that's been lingering. You're holding on to a relationship that lacks clarity because you're afraid to lose the fragile sense of stability it brings. You may already know the other person isn't sincere or the connection no longer nourishes you, yet you haven't walked away because deep down, you believe something is better than nothing. Venus in Taurus makes you extra sensitive to unreciprocated emotions. One unanswered message, one forgotten promise can keep you up all night, not because you're weak, but because it touches a deeper wound, the fear of not being chosen, of not being valuable enough for someone to stay. But when a connection leaves you both hopeful and exhausted, it's no longer love. It's a form of emotional dependency. This April, with aspects from both the Sun and Venus affecting your relationship sector, everything becomes clear. You can no longer pretend everything's fine, when deep down, you're waiting for a commitment that may never come. And the real fear isn't losing them, it's losing yourself by staying. Be honest, are you truly in love, or are you clinging to a beautiful memory that's already faded? Are you still hoping for something from them, or just convincing yourself to hold on because you fear the emptiness? Write down one thing you've sacrificed just to maintain peace for someone else. Then read it back as if you were writing a letter to your past self, not to blame, but to see how far you've come from something that once seemed small. And if you feel like sharing that moment, your comment may be the light someone else needs while searching for their own way forward. Warning 6. A crisis of self-worth. Am I just not good enough? When Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and value, sits in Taurus, the conversation shifts from who loves whom to a deeper question: am I loving myself the right way? You may find yourself spending money to fill emotional gaps, rewarding yourself as a form of comfort. But afterward, there's a quiet sense of guilt, as if you didn't truly deserve that goodness. On the other hand, some may cut back on all spending, not out of necessity, but because of a vague fear. Fear of not having enough later, fear of not being entitled to enjoy. Venus in Taurus surfaces deep-rooted beliefs about self-worth that you thought you'd already moved past. You start asking, do I deserve to rest, to receive without having to prove myself first? Meanwhile, the combined influence of Jupiter and Uranus in your financial zone makes everything more sensitive. You feel the urge to change the way you make money, but hesitate, unsure if you're truly good enough yet. The conflict isn't in the numbers in your account, but in how you define deserving. This month doesn't ask you to earn more or spend less. It asks you to face the real question. Am I living from a place of safety or from my true values? That question isn't easy to answer, but it's the turning point for everything that comes next. You don't need a revolution. You don't need to become someone else. As a Libra, your true power has never been in harsh decisions, but in your sensitivity to see both sides of everything and choose the one that truly aligns with you. But for a while now, you've used that sensitivity to endure, to hold back, to keep the peace, not to choose what you actually want. It's time to reclaim that power, but this time to choose clearly, for no one but yourself. April is your moment to reset your boundaries between what you do out of love and what you do out of fear of being disliked. Stop maintaining peace if it's suffocating you every day. You don't have to prove anything through silence. Start saying no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you. In love, if a relationship makes you feel unworthy, step back and ask, do I truly want connection, or am I just afraid of loneliness? No one has the right to define your worth based on how they treat you. Remember, the right connection will never make you feel wrong. In finances, don't just aim to earn more. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want, and how much do I need to live it that way? That's how you create true abundance, not driven by fear and not losing yourself for money. And if you're feeling overwhelmed because everything seems to be falling apart this month, don't panic. Sometimes what looks like chaos is the universe shaking you out of your comfort zone so you can grow and become a stronger, clearer version of yourself. If this April feels especially turbulent, remember, you're not alone. Capricorn is also entering a major transformation in life values and career. In the next video, we'll explore why even those who seem the strongest are quietly relearning how to be soft, so they don't break. See you in the next episode, Capricorn.